Okay, welcome to Forte and Goal, and as per usual, we've got the latest, greatest insights and predictions to Week 10 of the NFL season. It's coming to you a little late, as per usual. Thursday's game's already been played, but I'm going to just say, a little disclaimer here. I would have picked Baltimore to win the game, but and I'd have been wrong, like most people. But I have a very, very healthy respect for Brian Flores as well as that Miami defense. And the Miami defense came through. Great game plan. I loved what they did. It looked simple. I mean, I didn't get a chance to, to review the all 22 and see the full feel or anything, but you could see it. You could see it just from watching the game on, regular cameras on TV. You could see that the Dolphins were regularly lining up a safety, bringing him off the edge, bringing a faster guy to rush, Lamar, and it caused him a whole bunch of problems. He had pressure all day. He got sacked. I have to double check the amount of times, but it just slowed them down completely. He didn't even have like any explosive runs whatsoever. The guys that they pay dollars at the wide receiver spot dropped passes and couldn't make plays when they needed to. The running game wasn't really effective. I mean, they were embarrassed pretty bad. Pretty bad. I give the Dolphins credit. This game was in Miami. They had the home field advantage. And even more miraculously about this game with the Dolphins was the fact that they played not only Jacoby Brissett to start the game because of some questions with Tua's availability and his health, but Tua then comes in and plays, and he played pretty well as well. So they played both quarterbacks. Neither one outstanding. They didn't really do a lot on the offensive side, but they did enough, and they played great defense. So here's some thoughts on that 22-10 win by the Dolphins. The Ravens actually had two offensive plays or 20-plus yards. Both were receptions by Bateman. Baltimore averages 5.5 through weeks 1 through 9 this season, which is the second most in the NFL, as far as explosive plays. Streak is over. The Ravens scored fewer than 14 points for the first time in their last 53 games. The 52-game streak with 14-plus points was the second longest streak in the NFL. Lamar, his interception in the fourth quarter was his first regular season interception in the red zone in his 55 career games. So those are the key things I took away from this game. Marquise Brown had 9 targets in the first half. That's the most in a first half in his career. Mark Andrews is the 8th player in Ravens history with 200-plus career receptions. And considering he hasn't even been with the team that long, I think that's amazing. The Dolphins have punted on each of their first 3 drives for the first time since week 11 of 2019. Anyway, that pretty much summarizes that game. Like I said, I would have ended up picking the Ravens. I would have been wrong like the majority of us, but I do have a healthy respect for the Miami defense. Not surprised that these guys dominated the game. It looked like 2020. I mean, if you look at the defense for the Dolphins, they were dominant last season. This season hasn't looked as good, but to me that's a talented defense, and it's quarterbacked by the coach Brian Flores. Next game we're going to look at is I think it's a bit of a mismatch type of game. Let's just be honest. We're talking about the 5-3. People are predicting Buffalo to be like this dominant Super Bowl contender this season. I believe that this is super, super hyped. I mean, let's think about who they've played and where their points have come from. Let's look at these statistics and say, hey, 5-3, and you're talking about these guys being like the best team in the AFC. That's what people are talking about. They're playing against the Jets, who are 2-6. Their 2 wins are surprising to most people because of who they beat. Like they just beat the Titans. Let's see, both Mike White, here's some interesting things. Mike White and Josh Johnson finished with a 100-plus passer rating in Week 9. How about that at Indianapolis? Zach Wilson has not had a 100-plus passer rating this season. The Bills have a plus 117-point differential this season. That's the highest of any team, with 3 losses through the first 8 games. That's because they've crushed a couple of teams. Washington was one of them. It's deceiving. Elijah Moore, 34.6 catch percentage, 1.8 receptions per game, 15.8 receptions yards per game. Elijah Moore has a 92.9 catch percentage in the last 2 games, weeks 8 and 9. Those numbers were 1 through 7. This is weeks 8 through 9. He has 6.5 receptions per game and a 75.5 yards per game, 2 TDs in those games, in those last 2 games. The Bills have allowed 5 passing TDs this season. That's the fewest in the NFL by week 5. By 5 entering week 10. Okay, the Jets have scored 30-plus points and had 400 total yards in each of the last 2 games. In each of 2 games without Zach Wilson. So surprisingly, the Jets are playing a little better without Zach. No diss on Zach; he has a higher ceiling, but Mike White apparently is doing a good job. Buffalo has started with fewer than 6 wins in their first 8 games of the season for the first time since 2018. That's since Josh Allen has been their quarterback. Mike White's 405 passing yards in Week 8 were the most by a Jets quarterback in a game since Testaverde in 2000. How about that? Now, let's dig into stats, okay? And we're going to be going fast today, by the way, so just keep up with me, okay? The Jets, 12th in offense, 1st in defense. They're 11th in passing. That's a surprise. And 1st in defense, again, a surprise. And their rushing is 16th. Oh, excuse me, that's the Bills. There you go, my bad. This game, by the way, just as a reminder, is in New York City, that is. The Jets are 26th in offense. They're 25th in defense. They're 20th in passing, and they're 32nd in rushing. Now, again, going back to these stats, the Bills being number 1 in defense, let's bear in mind who they've played and how these stats have played in. I mean, how these games have played into the overall stats. Same thing with their offensive ranking. So this is what we're looking at. To me, overall, we're looking at a Buffalo team that is probably overranked, playing against a team in the Jets that are they're just a, how do I put it? They're just an upset team waiting to happen. I mean, let's remember, they beat the Titans. They're capable of beating good teams, and the Buffalo Bills might be a little overrated, but they are a good team. Josh Allen can catch fire at any point. The Jets just aren't that great a team. I expect the Bills to win this very important divisional matchup, even away from home. I expect the Bills to win the game. I don't think it's going to be that high scoring, and I don't think it's going to be a blowout really by any stretch of the imagination. If Mike White plays well, this would be a very close game. I think that the Bills will win this game 24 to 19. 24-19, the Bills win this game. Speaking of mismatches, we've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 6-2 traveling to the Washington football team, who are 2-6. So again, mismatches, right? Now let's bear in mind Washington played them very well in the playoffs last year with Taylor Heineke, and he'll be quarterbacking the team this week as well. This game will be in Washington, and it was in Washington last season because the football team actually won the division, if you want to call it winning. Basically given to them as far as I'm concerned. Some insights. Ron Rivera is 4-6 as the head coach of the team in the first game after the bye week. Tom Brady, the last time Tom Brady faced the last ranked pass defense, Week 6, 2003. The Buccaneers OC, who's Byron Leftwich, was a rookie quarterback for the Jaguars. I mean, time marches on. Antonio Gibson has 60 rushing yards and 0 TDs in each of his last 3 games. That is crazy. He's supposed to be much better than this. A lot of people had him ranked higher. I did not. Tom Brady is 15-4 in his career in the first game after a bye week. Keep in mind they are coming off a bye. Washington has a 31.4% quarterback pressure rate. This season. That's the third highest in the NFL. That has really come on over the last couple of weeks. So they're heating up as far as defensive line is concerned. Again, we're going fast, so I want to get to the other stats, and then we'll quickly give you a prediction, and we're going to move right on through to the next games, next teams. So the Buccaneers offense is number 3. Their defense, number 7. Their defense is number 3. Their overall passing is 2nd. Their rushing is 25th. Not a surprise. The offense for the football team is 23rd. The defense is 19th. The passing is 26th, and their rushing is 17th. So nothing special on the football team as far as their stats. And we've got basically a passing team in the Buccaneers. Can't blame them for passing the ball a lot. They fake like they're a running team and, able to run, and they can run a little bit, but they're all about passing. And I can't say I blame them. You can see it. They do a lot of play action, but they don't really run the ball a lot. 25th in rushing. But their defense is still dominant. They have given up some yards on the ground, which they're supposed to be impenetrable. This defense is getting better as far as Washington's concerned, but they're an overmatched team, and there's no getting around that. They're going to lose this game at home to the Buccaneers. It would be a miracle if they win. The Buccaneers should handle their business and win the game, by a good margin. I'm going to say 34 to 17. 34-17, Tampa Bay wins the game. We've got the 4-4 Atlanta Falcons traveling to the 6-2 Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys are coming off a very embarrassing loss. Meanwhile, the Falcons are basically a surging team. They seem to be finding their legs, so to speak. They've won a couple of games. They've won a few games. In the last part of their schedule. Their 8 games, they've gotten 3 wins in the past 4. So few insights, okay? And I'm big on the emotional side of things. I mean, let's go back to that. The Cowboys are coming in very angry after playing their worst game all season by far. They were embarrassed on both sides of the ball. Lots of mistakes. The coaching wasn't, the best in this game in terms of preparation and adjustments, and for that matter, even being motivated because they looked a little flat. We definitely the Cowboys are going to be coming into this game hot. Meanwhile, the Falcons, they want to continue their streak. They want to keep the momentum up. Atlanta has scored 25-plus points in five times this season, and it's 4 of the past 5. Meanwhile, Dallas has allowed 25 plus points in 2 of their last 3 games. So, 25 seems to be the magic number. Falcons have played 6 straight one-possession games. That's the longest streak in the NFL, and they're 4-2 in those games. The Cowboys have not lost at home in consecutive weeks since weeks 11 and 12 of 2017. So they're doing really good as far as defending home turf. Falcons are 1-3. Let's skip that stat. The Dan Quinn is the 5th coach. He's coaching against his former team. That's an interesting stat. So we're very familiar with this Falcon team. Dak has a 112.3 passer rating when not under pressure this season, and Atlanta has a 21.4% quarterback pressure rate, which is lowest in the NFL. I'm a little surprised by that because I actually thought they did a better job getting after the quarterback since they got 3 sacks against Brady, which is not easy to do in any game against any team. The Falcons have won 3 of their last 4, which I mentioned that they've been hot of late. And meanwhile, the Cowboys, they rank top 5 in the NFL in points per games, passing yards per games, rushing yards per game. This is for the 5th time since 1970, and the Cowboys advanced to the Super Bowl in the previous 4 instances. So that might be saying a ton. Hopefully it does, for the Cowboys' sake. And their fans, of course. Let's look at some stats, because these stats can mislead, but they can sometimes tell the story. Falcons are 24th in offense, 10th in defense. They are 17th in passing, 31st in rushing. Meanwhile, the Cowboys are 5th in offense. Their defense is ranked 14th. They're 8th in passing, 8th in rushing. So you're talking about a very balanced, very good overall Cowboys offense. Defense is middle of the pack. I think they're going to be dominant. And I don't think they're going to get embarrassed in a second week. I don't think everybody's going to play poorly a second week. I don't think that the coaching is going to be off and not prepared. I just think this Cowboys team is going to be hitting on all cylinders. They are missing Randy Gregory in this game. He's put on IR. He's going to miss about 3-4 games. That hurts the pass rush for the Cowboys, but I don't think it's going to stop them from getting the sacks that they need. I don't think it's going to negate getting pressure on Matt Ryan. Matty Ice is a consistent quarterback. He's good. I mean, even without the weapons that he's used to having, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley being on personal leave from the team, I just don't see this team playing poorly. So the Cowboys will win the game, and they're going to do all the things they need to get on track. Cowboys win this game, I think, handily, 34-24. 34-24. Cowboys win this game. Oh, next up we've got the New Orleans Saints going against. They're 5-3, going against the Tennessee Titans, who are 7-2. Pardon me. Some insights. Some insights is the analytics expert Cynthia Froyline. She's got the Titans winning 55% of the time. Saints have not had a 300-yard passer through their first 8 games of the season for the first time since 2002. Keep in mind they had Drew Brees for many, many years. Julio Jones has 0 receiving TDs in 7 straight games versus the Saints. That's the longest drought versus any team. Keep in mind this was from when he was in Atlanta. The Saints have 2+ takeaways in 4 of their 5 wins this season. I respect that Saints defense, by the way. The Titans have are 7-2 and have the best start through 9 games since 2008. The Saints have scored 77 first-half points in 5 wins this season, 7 first-half points into 3 losses. Kevin Byard is the second-ranked safety in the NFL according to PFF, and I love him. I think he's fantastic. So those are some insights. Wait a minute now. This is okay. Okay. This is what we're doing. Okay, gotcha. All right, so that's pretty much the stats. Here we go. Let's see something. Bear with me, guys. Okay, nope, that's not it. Okay. All right, so we're going to give, like I said, we're going to fast forward. We're doing picks real quick. So we've got the Saints going against the Titans. I say that the Saints defense is going to play very well. I don't see them beating this Tennessee team. I just have a lot of respect for what Tennessee is doing right now. I think they're on a roll even without Derrick Henry. You wouldn't probably be able to run too well against that Saints defense even with Henry. They do play to run very well, and they've got a good defense altogether. So, and they're home. Tennessee is home. So I'm going to give the Titans the advantage. I don't think it's going to be a particularly high-scoring game. 27 for Tennessee, 21 for the 21, actually 17 for the Saints. So 17-27, Tennessee wins this game. Next up, we've got the Jacksonville Jaguars that are They are 2-6, traveling to the Indianapolis Colts, who are 4-5. Now, you better believe the Colts want to get on the right track and not be embarrassed by the Jacksonville Jags. It'll put them at 5-5, and again, they're home, so think about that. Some insights: Jonathan Taylor has exploded lately. He's been playing some really good football. He's the 4th player in Colts history with 2,000-plus rushing yards in their first 2 seasons. Colts have scored 25-plus points in 6 straight games. That's the longest streak in the NFL, fewer than 25 points in each of the first 3 games this season. Jaguars defense ranks top 10 in points per game and total yards per game allowed since week 6. That's 2-1 in that span. So they're getting a little better. Carson Wentz is playing better, so there's a lot of things going on as far as the momentum. I think they're starting to play a little bit of softer teams, the Colts are. So you're looking at a 2-6 team traveling to a 4-5 team, a team that a lot of people had picked to go further. I see Indianapolis handling their business and winning this game. They're playing against a pretty good defense in Jacksonville, so I don't think the game's going to go that high. That being said, they have scored. The Colts have 25 points per game. So, 25 points. So I do see them scoring in that range. But I'm going to go the Colts will win this game. I say 26 to Jacksonville's 17. 26-17. The Colts win this game. Next up, we've got the 0-8 Detroit Lions traveling to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are 5-3. If you're not following, look, the Steelers are playing pretty good football right now. They're winning some games. Meanwhile, Detroit was losing games in every which way, close games, and they deserve a win. They just might get it against Pittsburgh, but I don't really see that happening given how the Steelers are playing lately. The Steelers have averaged 18.8 points per game without Ben Roethlisberger as the starter since 19, and they're 23.4 points per game with him. The Lions are 0-8 for the fourth time, in franchise history. Did not win the ninth game in each of those previous 3 seasons. The Lions have scored fewer than 20 points in 7 straight games. Steelers are 13-2 versus the Lions. I mean, everything just points to the Steelers winning this game. So, again, I do think the Steelers are going to win the game. They're at home. I think they're going to win the game 24-17. 24-17. The Steelers will win this game. Okay, next game up, we've got the Cleveland Browns, 5-4, traveling to the 5-4 Patriots. Now, a lot of people are getting on the bandwagon for the Patriots. They feel like they're starting to, find their way. They're starting to, figure things out. Mac Jones is playing fairly well. The defense has been strong. That's something that's kind of been there for the Patriots for some time, and they're home. Here's some insights. Baker Mayfield's score in the first. Bill Belichick was the Cleveland head coach back in 91 through 95. Cleveland has had 10 different coaches, 12, including interims, since rejoining the NFL in 99. So that's quite some turnaround. In terms of a quarterback comparison, Baker Mayfield's 4-4 this season. Mac Jones is 5-4. 66.7 completion percentage, 239.6 yards per game, 8 TDs, 3 interceptions, a 99.4 passer rating. That's for Baker. 68% completion percentage, 237 yards per game, 10 TDs, 7 INTs, 89.8 passer rating for Mac Jones. So, pretty closely matched, but you can see there's a slight edge for Baker Mayfield. Cleveland's allowed 309 yards per game this season. That's their fewest since Bill Belichick was the head coach back in 94. Bill Belichick is 7-2 versus the Browns as head coach, 5-0 at home. So these are some interesting stats. I do think it's an interesting matchup just because of the legacy, the history with Belichick. But I'm not sold on the Patriots. I do think that their defense is capable of taking over games. I do think that Mac Jones is playing good football. But I like the Brownies in this game. I think the Brownies are more than capable of dominating. I think their running game is powerful. Their O-line can handle things. I'm not a huge fan of Baker Mayfield. I think Baker Mayfield makes the critical errors. I don't like their passing attack, as being that great, but I do like Cleveland in this game. I think Cleveland's going to win a tight game, and here I think we're looking at a 24-22 game, 24-22, with the Brownies coming up with the win in this game. Okay, in the later window today, we've got the Minnesota Vikings, 3-5, traveling to the 5-3. Los Angeles Chargers. I like Los Angeles. I think they're a real contender in the AFC. I think they have a chance to win the division. I do like Herbert a ton, like most people. I think that the only real weakness is their defense giving up a lot of yards on the ground, which is something that Minnesota can do. So here's some insights. Each of the Vikings' 5 losses this season have been by 7 points or fewer. That's the most one-possession losses in the NFL. Mike Williams has had 0 receptions, TDs in his last 3 games. Williams has had 6 receiving TDs in his first 5 games this season, which was the most in the NFL. So somewhere that connection is probably it needs to be rekindled. Here's some interesting stats about Kirk Cousins. In the first half of the season, he was doing a ton better, 123.4 passer rating. In his second half of the season, in the second half of the games, his passer rating drops to 84.3. The Chargers have allowed the most rushing yards per game. That's 161.6. And yards per carry. That's 5 yards per carry this season. They're worse than the league right now. The Vikings are 0-3 versus AFC opponents this season, with 2 of those losses coming in OT. Justin Herbert in wins, he has 112.7 passer rating, but in the losses, 74.4 passer rating. So a lot of things going on there. You can see Justin Jefferson has 5 receptions in his last 2 games. That's tied for the fewest in a 2-game span in his career. First 2 career games, Jefferson had 7 receiving yards, 175 yards, a TD in the ensuing games. Okay, so Justin Jefferson's a terrific receiver, but I'm not sure, if he's as good as people think he is. I'll definitely put him up there in top 15. But I'm not willing to commit to exactly where just at this point. So 3-5 team traveling to a 5-3 team. I get that Minnesota is desperate for a win, and at the same time, though, I think that the Chargers are going to want to continue their momentum. They won last week. They had a good game. I think they're maybe going to make a few adjustments in the running game. And I just think they're too talented. I don't think that they're going to lose to this Minnesota team. So I'm going to go with the Chargers in this game. I think they're going to put up enough points. I would say 28. No, 31. 31 to the. I would say 31 to 27. And I would say that Minnesota loses that game, 31-27. Up, we've got the Carolina Panthers, who are 4-5, against the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona, who are 8-1. Well, clearly Arizona is, really dominating and winning close games. They've had some close calls. Let's not, get ahead of ourselves and think that they're the best thing since sliced bread. But they are a very tough team. They can run on you, and they can certainly pass on you. A.J. Green has been a great addition. Their offensive line's improved. James Conner has done a great job in the running department. They're running the ball a lot more effectively. It's not all Kyler Murray in the running game. So they're a tough team, and their defense is playing good football. I don't have to tell you that. They're playing good football. They can get after the passer. They're doing a nice job on the back end. Carolina, on the other hand, hasn't played that well. Carolina has fewer than 200 passing yards in 5 straight games. Darnold has struggled. their longest such streak since 2010. They do have Cam Newton back. The Cardinals have allowed fewer than 20 points and 350 total yards in 5 games this season. That's tied for the most in the NFL. The Panthers have 1 TD in their last 12 quarters. That's horrible. The Cardinals have a 100-plus passer rating in 7 games this season. That's the most in the NFL. The Panthers have won each of their last 5 matchups against the Cardinals by 10-plus points. That includes the playoffs. So this is interesting. So the Cardinals have 2 games remaining against teams that currently have a winning record. That's the Rams and the Cowboys. So the Cardinals, I'm sure, are trying to cruise to that best record in the NFC and give themselves a first-round bye. They're at home and playing against a pretty bad Carolina team. I know Carolina would love to get back to 5-5. Barring a huge upset, Carolina will lose this game against Arizona. I'm going to have to go chalk here and say Arizona wins the game, and they win it pretty handily against a Carolina team. Got all tongue-tied. That is, they're struggling. Their defense is still playing pretty good football, though. So watch out for that rush. Kyler Murray might get harassed a ton, and I think he is back this game. So I'm going to go Arizona. Arizona wins this game. Maybe not as much of a blowout as people might think. I'll say 28 to the Carolina Panthers getting 19. So what did I say there? 28 to 19. Arizona will win this game. Okay, next up we've got the 3-6 Philadelphia Eagles versus the 5-4 Broncos. Now the Broncos are at home after waxing. Oh my God, they just waxed the Cowboys, and now they're playing against the same, NFC East, an opponent from the NFC East again. This time it's the Eagles. When you look at the Eagles, you think about them, and frankly, all I see is Jalen Hurts creating and trying to run with the occasional passes going, getting a few occasional passes. A little bit of a running game lately. Sans, minus Miles Sanders. Maybe in this game they try to run the ball a little bit more. I mean, they're hard to figure out. Maybe Sirianni's getting the message. Maybe they're going to try to run the ball a little bit more. Here's some insight. So since week 8, the Eagles have run the ball on 71.4% of offensive plays. Next highest was New England at 58. So they're trying to run the ball now, minus Miles Sanders. The Broncos have allowed fewer than 18 points in 6 games this season. That's the most in the NFL. That defense is real. We found that out with how they shut down the Cowboys last week. The Eagles have not defeated a team this season that currently has a winning record. Teddy Bridgewater has a 70.2 completion percentage this season. That's 3rd highest in the NFL. Philadelphia has allowed a 75.5 completion percentage this season, would be highest in a season in team history. The Eagles have failed to register a sack in 3 of their last 4 games. Philadelphia has 12 sacks in their last 3 wins and 5 sacks in their 6 losses this season. The Broncos are one of 3 teams ranked top 10 in passing and rushing defense this season. Buffalo and Cleveland are the other 2. The Eagles are the only team in the NFL to have 4 players with 3+ rushing TDs this season. That's Hurts, Howard, and Gainwell, and Scott. The Broncos are the only team to have 2 running backs with 450 rushing yards and 1 rushing TD this season. That's Gordon and Williams. So I think right now Denver has got momentum, and they're high off their win. They're going to be confident. They're going to be at home, and they're going to go against a Philadelphia team that has struggled all season. The Eagles will struggle in this game to generate offense against a very good defense in Denver. I do think that the Broncos will continue to high fly and find their way, and they're going to win the game. Just plain and simple, they're going to win the game. Broncos win this game, I think, handily. They're going to win the game 27 to. Actually, 27 might even be low. I'll say 33 to 21. 33-21, the Broncos will win this game. Actually, not even 21. not even 21, no, 33-17, Broncos dominate this game and win. Next up, we have the Seattle Seahawks with Russell Wilson at 3-5, traveling to the 7-2 Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers. So both teams getting their quarterbacks back. How about that? Here's some interesting stats. No quarterback has passed for 3+ TDs or has a 100+ passer rating versus the Packers this week. Their defense is looking much, much better. I mean, they're playing better than I thought. Through weeks 1 through 6, the Seahawks played worse defense. They were 24.8 points per game. Over the last 2 weeks, weeks 7 and 8, 10 points per game allowed. So they're heating up in that department. The home team has won every game between the Seahawks and the Packers since 2010. Since 2013, the Seahawks are 6-2 following the bye. The Packers have allowed in Week 8 versus Murray, 66.7 completion percentage, and then in Week 9, a 54.1 completion percentage against Mahomes. But we know that Chiefs offense isn't really clicking this season. Number of reasons. The Seahawks have scored 28 points, plus points, or fewer than 21 points. Let me read that back to you. So the Seahawks have scored 28 plus points or fewer than 21 points in each game this season. The Packers have allowed 17 points or fewer in 5 games this season. Only Denver has allowed more such games. So that defense, like I said, is clicking and playing good football. I honestly believe that the Packers should win this game pretty easily. They're at home. They're a better team. They're a deeper team. They play better defense. I've got to go chalk. I've got to say that the Seahawks will lose this game. And again, the winning team has been the home team, since 2010. So that's another reason. But yeah, I definitely go with Green Bay in this game. I think it's going to be a fairly high-scoring game if Russell Wilson gets back to form right away. But I don't think they're going to do as good. I think they're going to struggle a little bit. The Seahawks will. I see the Green Bay Packers will score about 34 points, and the Seahawks will be at 22. So 34-22, the Packers will win this game. 34-22. Up, and we've got a doozy here, is KC versus, and they're 5-4 versus the 5-3 Las Vegas Raiders coming off of a bye. Now, the Chiefs, everybody knows, lots been made of it. They've struggled this season. Mahomes has certainly struggled. The whole offense, the defense has been horrendous. They're going against a pretty good Las Vegas team, but they've had tons and tons of off-the-field drama. Henry Ruggs, John Gruden, a whole coaching change. They're at home though, and they're fighting to be the divisional winner despite everything. Here's some interesting insight to these teams. The Raiders have allowed 184.3 passing yards per game since Week 5. That's the fewest in the NFL. That is a surprise. Patrick Mahomes has 2 passing TDs in his last 3 games. Okay, his fewest in any 3-game span in his career. The Chiefs are 1-4 versus AFC teams this season. They're 4-0 versus NFC teams. KC faces 7 AFC opponents in their final 8 games. Comparing the quarterbacks, look, Mahomes is 5-4. He has 25-34 passing yards. He has 20 TDs and 10 interceptions, 92.5 passer rating. Meanwhile, Derek Carr, 5-3, 65 passing yards, a little bit more than Mahomes, 13 TDs, and he has 7 interceptions, 97 passer rating. Pretty close. Raiders have pressured quarterbacks on 35.9% of the dropbacks when not blitzing. That's the highest in the NFL. KC has scored 20 points or fewer in 3 straight games. KC had 2 such games from 2018 to 2020, 5 fewer than any other team in that span. Both Darrell Waller and Travis Kelce, they're worth keeping an eye on. two great tight ends. The Raiders have averaged 31.4 points per game in their 5 wins, 13 in their 3 losses. Mahomes has a 75.2 passer rating since week 5, 28th among 31 quarterbacks with 3 starts in that span. So I think that the Chiefs are going to be, have spent the whole week trying to get some things changed, okay? They probably want to run the ball a little bit more. They probably want to concentrate on throwing the ball shorter. There's a number of different things. They know they're going to go against a good pass rush, even without blitzing from the Raiders. It's going to be very interesting to see the coaching changes in this game. I like the Raiders in this game. I like their chances, and I think that, they're going to probably pull it out. And that defense for the Chiefs does not inspire me against a very good quarterback and very good offense in the Las Vegas Raiders. So I'm going to go with Las Vegas in this game. I think it'll be a close game. I don't think it'll be particularly high. I'm going to say 24-14. Las Vegas prevails in this game. 24-14, Las Vegas. The matchup that we've got is the 7-2 Los Angeles Rams traveling to the San Francisco 49ers, who are sitting at 3-5. Now, it's really funny because a lot of people had these Niners predicted to be this big bounce back team after they had a lot of injuries, and they're supposed to be great. And I said no, I don't know why everybody's hyping them to be a Super Bowl contender. And, it looks like I'm right because they've struggled all season. Here's some insights. You've got and I knew that the Stafford trade would pay off because I really do respect Matthew Stafford's game. In the games following a loss, Sean McVay in the Sean McVay era, that's since 2017, the Rams are 16-5 with a plus 175 point differential. The Niners are 0-4 and have allowed at home. They're 0-4 at home and have allowed 29.8 points per game at home this season. Only Detroit's allowed more. The Rams are 4-1 on Monday Night Football in the Sean McVay era. San Francisco is 1-4 in the Kyle Shanahan area. Garoppolo is 4-0. 4-0 is Jimmy Garoppolo is 4-0 in LA. One of 6 quarterbacks in the Super Bowl area to be undefeated against the Rams in their career with a minimum of 4 starts. Ramsey's played terrific. Jalen Ramsey has a 84.9 coverage grade this season. That's the highest among 117 cornerbacks by PFF. So these are the interesting insights. This game to me is all about LA dominating, I think, pretty much every which way against San Francisco. I don't really see San Fran being able to shut down LA. I know they're capable, and it could be an upset, but I don't see it happening. I think LA is going to come back strong after having against that loss to the Titans, minus Derrick Henry and everything. So I'm going to say LA wins this game. It probably won't be that high scoring, so I'm going to go they win 28 to the Niners 21. 28-21. The Rams win this game. That wraps it up. I hope you guys have enjoyed the predictions. So far, I'm doing pretty well as far as the predictions. I have to very quickly, give results for the first half, how I'm doing, and I'll be coming out with that video very soon. Thank you for your support. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy your games on Sunday. Hope your teams win, and I also hope mine does. And until the next time, guys, cheers. See you soon.